Bohlen, continuing research on perception and performance of Bohlen-Pierce scale. Everybody, Elaine, welcome.
It's very exciting to be here. I did live in Boston for about 13 years. I was at Berklee College of Music that whole time. I was there from 86 to 91. Dr. Bohlen-Pierce was my professor, and I was a lab monitor in the electronic music labs for 8 or 9 years. Finally got rid of me. I still have the key, but I don't think it works anymore. So I want to talk about basically my history with the Bohlen-Pierce scale. So this is going to be kind of personalized through my journey. Because I could talk forever about chords and instruments, but that's all on the line. So you guys can go to ziaspace.com. There's all kinds of videos and charts and chords and stuff to listen to. So my journey, I guess, with microtonality, macrotonality, I think began when I was little on the piano with my mother, and I asked her, what about the notes in between? I was just kind of curious. Now, both my parents are math professors, so I might have a little bit of those genes. In fact, I think I have a lot of them. I just don't have the patience to be a mathematician. And I think that question might have sprouted from a book I read when I was in, I think, elementary school. And the book was this. It was by John R. Pierce, and it was kind of always on our coffee table. So I just think of this as a coffee table book, even though it's not really a coffee, it's much beyond a coffee table book. And most of it, of course, was over my head as a 5th grader or whatever. I don't remember how old I was exactly. The one thing in this book that stood out for me, which is extremely simple, this is just the interval of a fifth. And it just shows how the harmonics line up, and it shows why, I'm sorry this is blurry, but it shows why a fifth interval is harmonic. It doesn't have too many beats and stuff. So I just, of course, knows that this was like very eye-opening. And that just always stuck with me. So I was so I think maybe reading this book brought that question on. My first introduction to, this is kind of getting ahead, to the Bohlen-Pierce scale was when I was at Berklee College of Music, of course. And Dr. Boulanger walked into composition class one day, and he played this song. And, some students maybe were chuckling because he just started singing with really no warning. But it was a very serious, wonderful, beautiful tonal song in the Bohlen-Pierce scale. I just want to play a little bit. Some of you actually saw this already because he just did this during his talk. I just want to show you that this was my introduction. It was completely a very tonal piece, not atonal. So that led me to try to write my own Bohlen-Pierce scale song, and I guess I will play a little bit, just to change it up. You guys saw that last night, some of you. Now, it was very hard to write the Bohlen-Pierce scale when I first tried, and anyone who's tried knows what I'm talking about. There are no octaves, and that was the first challenge. And there's also a very harsh interval that's a little less than an octave, and then you get stuck in the minor third thing, so I'm playing with diminished chords all over the place, which was really annoying at first. So my solution was to do kind of a counterpoint. So I just wrote one motif, and then I, of course, copied and pasted. We're talking MIDI here, and kind of layered, and just very carefully layered another line over it that fit. I didn't just go for some chords because I had was doing. And I worked very hard on this song. It took a long time. So let me just play a clip of that. By the way, these musicians learn the song immediately. And when the stickmen came, and they stabbed her beautiful flawless skin, and left her inside, and settled in. To take her every last drop of life. We live in cubicles now, with imaginary walls. We live and breathe with stick man's laws. They take the breath, the blood, they leave a permanent scar. We live in cubicles now, with imaginary walls. Now just skip ahead and play some of the, Throughout this whole part, I'm really playing that shrunken octave. I find it's very useful if you want really scary dissonance. I just want to let it get to where it resolves to a chord. I have a hard time resolving anything. That's why it's like diminish. And right here, finally. So for me, that's the challenge, is resolving, because you're stuck in this dominant seventh or whatever kind of diminished sound. And I find a lot of times I need to leap way down the keyboard. So the trick, I think, I don't know if it's a trick, but the technique I guess I use just purely by ear and messing around is to use really wide. I just play your stuff. I just play very wide chords, and I just use my ear. And if I have to leap way up and down the keyboard, I just do it. Whatever sounds good, really. We don't have any BP rules yet. Okay, so one thing I want to mention is when Dr. Boulanger introduced the Bohlen-Pierce scale to me, of course at the time he just called it the Pierce scale, and I'm like, Pierce, John R. Pierce, it sounded so strangely familiar, and of course it was the book. I went home that Christmas and I saw the book on the coffee table. Whoa, what a weird coincidence. There's all kinds of coincidences and cute little things, kind of bittersweet and cute things to the story that I'll probably forget and leave out. But. Okay, so then my next adventure with the Bohlen-Pierce scale was kind of many years later. I did write a few, or at least 2 songs in between that were kind of more on the electronic industrial kind of genre. So kind of Skinny Puppy 9 Inch Nails kind of genre. So, we played all kinds of rock clubs.